All right, green side up. Part 2, Chapter 7, pricing, which is critical to success. Right. So if there's any one reason that businesses go out of fail or that fail, is property is most commonly is the success of the company is related to pricing. So he says, a lot of companies go out of business in 5 years or 10 just because they can't seem to get the pricing figured out. And many times, what happens is people start copying copying their neighbor, copying other people, and trying to keep competitive with the other guys. Meanwhile, they're also going out of business. So everyone is, rather than raising the bar, the standard, and raising it up, everyone's trying to beat each other down. And the sad thing is, most of the time, people don't even realize what happened of why they went out of business. And it ultimately, in his experience, comes around to pricing. And so he's went on to explain, how he got beat up by one company. They charged him out, and they had big trees and small trees, and the customer sent him back and said, "Hey, why don't you, that's a lot of small things in there. Why don't you, reduce the price on those small bushes that you're putting in?" And so he went back and tried to see what he could do, and thought maybe I'll buy them at wholesale discount and get them cheaper. And okay, so I'll give the guy a discount on the small shrubs because I'm making money on the big trees anyways. And well, as it turned out, the guy never even went with the big trees, and so he gave the discount and wound up, losing a bunch of money or doing a bunch of work on which he didn't even make a lot of money on it. So how you price is really critical. So taking action on pricing. Properly price each of the profit centers is an important thing. And be sure markups for labor and materials, make sure it makes money. And then based on pricing, the actual overhead, the desired, and find out what everyone charges. All right? So in the industry, start to get the standard. So let me go on to Chapter 8 as well of Part 2. And that is pricing, which is to be consistent and accurate, because, and then so get into a couple different things. Is it okay to just use a straight multiplier? Are vehicles and equipment also part of the direct cost, or they should be part of the overhead? And how much profit should one make? A simple answer to the profit question is as much as you can, as much as the market will let you. So try to do that. Let's go back to the first one. Is it okay to just use a simple multiplier? And the simple multiplier, meaning like if I have to install a tree, I'm just going to say I'm going to multiply it by 2.5, and that's going to include everything in there, labor, cost, and all that. And his indication is that no, and you shouldn't charge the same. There should be a different markup for each kind of tree, especially if it's going in there. If you're going to include labor to put it in, big trees obviously take more than small trees. To put in. And so, how you price and how you get granular with that by the hour, and then work through the process of learning over time, all your different costs associated with the different functions and things that you do becomes critically important. Next is this issue of equipment. Are they part of direct or overhead? Should they just be included within the job or not? He said different people on equipment do different things. Some people charge for only big equipment, some people for small equipment, some people charge only for, only equipment with aspirated equipment, and other, equipment that they don't charge for. But what he does say is that what he noticed is that the firm that made some of the most money in the industry is one that charged for all their equipment separately. So like the more you can charge for it, the better. So and the more you can segment it out, the better is what he found within there. But regardless, the point is that with the pricing and what you do, one needs to be consistent from job to job and from within the policies. So the action items from this is price all the jobs by the hour, not the multiplier. So charge them, not by a fixed cost to do the thing, but rather by the time and materials, if you will, as much as you can by the hour. Be consistent with your pricing. We already said that. And know the minimum profit your company needs to make to charge, and then make sure you charge that, and then charge as much as you can. So there you are. And so that means you need to know your numbers and your pricing pretty well. This is our audio review summary of the book, Green Side Up, provided to you by Providence Trading Capital Partners, our little gift to you. So let's get on with the next part of